junge. Kim Khan. Ja, Rani Singer.
Okay. Hello, viewers. Welcome to another edition of Bits and Banter, where we basically bumble our way through topics centered around tech and business, giving our light-hearted take on some happenings of the week. When I say we, it means Raj and I, both of us primarily keyboard journalists, now pivoting to video as well. As ever, we'll plunge straight into one of the much talked about events of the week. Raj, I'm talking about the congressional grilling of the four top tech CEOs.
Yeah.
I would very much love to hear your take on that.
Yeah. Before we even get there, I actually had this. I felt very funny when they said antitrust. So
Okay.
I mean, it took me a bit of time to figure out who's trusting whom or who's not trusting whom. So I'm assuming that the government is not trusting these four chaps. If that is the case, why call them over, man? You just say, "I don't trust you, man. Go to hell." So for me, right at the beginning, I said, "Okay, this doesn't make sense." So I was looking at what we have in India, which is similar to this. It turned out to be Competition Commission. Now that sounds weird again. So do I form a commission to compete, or should I compete?
And the word commission is pretty common in India with myriad meanings.
Yes. So if I want to compete, should I pay commission? So I mean, these words are so weird. Getting beyond,
Exactly.
I think it is just our, high IQ levels that is making us think this way. I mean high. I'm sure everybody understands that for us, high is way below 100. We have never scored a century in our cricketing days. So you know what it means. Yeah, Bala. I mean, go ahead. So for me, antitrust itself meant something weird. Then I heard that these four guys had come to cook something up. I mean, no pun intended.
Pun.
Yeah,
yes.
No pun intended. These guys were cooking up something. Then I mean, see, when I looked at the words, the people itself, I said, okay, why are these four guys? I mean, they pretty much own the United States of America, as far as I'm concerned. So what are we talking about here? So, anyways, do you know something a bit better than I do? I'm sure you do.
See, I don't know much about it, but what I found interesting and kind of an interesting takeaway for me was it's only in America that it is possible that what was essentially a mundane part of governance was quickly turned into a primetime TV online show. See, there was huge viewership for that. Yeah. I mean, that happens only in America. Yeah. I think the hearing lasted for over 5 hours. And if they had done some planning, actually, the whole thing could have been run as a Netflix series. And we would have binge watched it and asked for a second season.
Yeah, I'm sure Karan Johar has something to learn from this man.
I'm sure. He might be having something up his sleeves. You never know.
With Karan Johar, you never know up what he's having what. So anyway, let us not go there. It's a family show again. So
yeah, you are up to your naughty ways, Raj. But another thing, I mean, as a common individual, I was really happy to note and very reassuring for me was, I mean, the whole thing involved four big CEOs. CEOs of the companies that practically, as you said, practically own the technological ecosystem across the world. But the whole thing, which was video, I mean, the whole series was done on a video conference, and there were a lot of technical glitches. And it involved all the four CEOs, which was very reassuring. At one point, Jeff Bezos started speaking without unmuting himself, which is what you and I do on the typical Zoom meetings. So we have an ally in Jeff Bezos. And as I said, it was very reassuring. And another thing was when Mark Zuckerberg, at one point when he was speaking, there was a mismatch between his video and audio. Then again, it might be happening right in the talk that we are recording right now. I don't know. The viewers have to say it. It might be happening.
No, I mean, I feel on one hand, I'm in elite company, man. You remember, so guys, all those watching, last time we had a funny episode. We finished the recording of this and I couldn't find the recording. Can you beat that? So I was just telling Bala, I said, you know what, had it not been for Amir Khan, I would have had called him and asked him to record it once again. Now, where does Amir Khan come in?
Come in.
Yeah. All is well. I told myself, you will find it, man. Don't worry. Zoom is not as stupid as you are. I'm sure it has saved it somewhere, and I actually found it. So it is really reassuring that even Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg can actually
get into some kind of a tangle involving technology.
Yeah. Just, they are no better than us, or we are as good as them. I don't know which way to look at it, but yeah, that's great.
Another funny thing that really happened at the congressional hearing was one Republican lawmaker started complaining to Sundar Pichai, Raj, that emails that he sends to his family didn't get delivered. Actually, he really said that it begged belief. Here was the CEO of probably the biggest tech company in the world, right now having to take a question on non-delivery of emails. You know what, Raj? This reminded me of good old days in India in the 80s and 90s when you told your relatives, especially old relatives, that now you are an engineer. You immediately broach the subject of, say, some non-functioning tube light. You might have majored in nanotechnology, but as an engineer, your relatives would expect you to set right their blinking tube light. That's what usually happens in India.
Definitely. Then they will add to the comment. They say, "You don't know this. What did they teach you at engineering college?"
Exactly. As an engineer, you are supposed to do every kind of thing. You must be a motor mechanic. You must set right faulty telephones. You must set right faulty electrical lines. You must do everything that involves certain amount of technology, which is beyond the grasp of any common person.
Yes, and if you are at it, they might even want you to set right the mixie and their auto rickshaw or their two-wheeler also.
Exactly, and possible the neighborhood's auto rickshaw, as you said.
I actually had something when you were talking about Sundar Pichai trying to now get into looking at why emails are not being delivered. I'm wondering whether our Prime Minister Narendra Modi also is facing the same situation, because you remember when he started off 6 years plus ago, he started off with the Swachh Bharat campaign, where he said, okay, we should keep our locations clean, the place clean. Now, I think pretty much everybody in this country I might be writing to him saying, you know what, the garbage picker didn't come here. Please send somebody. Thank God, maybe
that was a well-intentioned campaign, but as it happens in India, it has taken us nowhere. You're right.
Yeah,
we must write to the Prime Minister, but where will he find it? In the garbage bin of his computer, the recycle bin.
Yeah, he probably, he would have actually gotten so used to it, used to such mails now, he would have directed them directly to the recycle bin. You don't even need to delete them now anymore. It will go directly into the recycle bin. I'm sure he's quite disappointed with everything that is happening. Yeah.
True. Raj, it was, did you by any chance get to watch this congressional hearing? Did you watch after it, or was it live? Because during the meeting, it was intriguing to see the big shot techies grabbing a quick snack and furtively biting into them while the hearing was on.
Yeah.
Why I bring this up is, for a 5.5 hour hearing, you're bound to get hungry. Even within 15 minutes, I've become hungry. That's a different story.
Yeah.
You and I are always hungry. That's just in case viewers needed to know that. Besides that, why I bring this up? Because there was one particularly hilarious incident involving the show of Arnab Goswami recently.
Mm-hmm.
There was a particular news show where Tamil actress Kasturi was invited. But now don't ask me why Kasturi was in a news show. For all I know, even Kasturi's Doberman would have been invited, because all these news shows need just some noise, and dogs are good at providing them. So you wouldn't even know the difference. That's besides the point. But during this particular telecast, the whole world saw, when I say whole world, I'm actually exaggerating. Whoever was watching the particular news channel saw Kasturi coolly dipping into her lunch plate or dinner plate, whatever. I don't know. It was a recorded show, so I don't know when it was recorded. She was dipping into her plate and coolly eating.
Mm-hmm.
It was on news television. And it was surprising. And as it always happens in India, it quickly became viral. And everyone and a lot of news outlets also put out a story about how Kasturi was eating on a news show. It was quite interesting. But what was really interesting was she put out a tweet saying why she ate in the news show. She said she was hungry and she wanted to eat. The killer line was, anyway, this was Arnab Goswami's show. I never expected me to speak. So I was blissfully eating.
Yeah, which also explains why dogs are not allowed on the show, because only one person can bark, right? I mean, everybody can't bark.
Wicked,
So it
Raj.
doesn't-
Raj, wicked. Your ass over wicked.
I mean, think about it. So that's the way it is. I mean, you either bark or you allow other people to bark. I mean, if everybody barks, then nothing is left.
But she had a point when she said, I mean, anyway, you come to the show and just make up one of those square boxes
Yeah, I know. It's
while somebody else keeps droning.
Yeah, which is fine. So one thing I found in the entire thing, one thing I found interesting was what Jeff Bezos had to say about in his defense, where he said that I mean, you can't make. He said he loves companies working out of garages, but you can't make a Boeing in a garage. Now I was
Very
wondering,
astute point.
yeah. Now I was wondering, did Jeff Bezos actually make a Boeing, and does his business actually make Boeings? So what is he talking about? Or what was he smoking there? Or what did he eat actually? Now that you tell me he was sweatively eating things. Yeah, I
mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. I'm really keen on figuring out what he was eating there. I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think. I mean, the lawmakers in the US now need to investigate that. Okay, what were these guys eating, man? I mean, we also need to eat some of it because it puts us in a different level. So yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, but your point is right. See, this whole antitrust hearing was streamed live on YouTube, and the whole antitrust was about whether these companies are foreclosing any competition. They are forbidding any competition.
Yeah.
Whether without these companies, others were able to flourish or not. And you had this, ironical or meta situation where the whole thing was telecast on YouTube, which is owned by Google. Without Google, you would not have been able to see what was being, what was essentially a hearing against Google.
Yeah,
that's how ironical it was. It was in a sense, it is silly. I mean, we'll not look at the silly side. We'll take it positively and see it as a joke.
Yeah, I guess so. So now that they are deciding whether all these companies should be split up or not, I think we have some good masala for the next edition of Bits and Banter.
Exactly.
I believe, right? Look forward to that.
And since we have also broached the name of Arnab Goswami, we better stop talking.
I know.
Otherwise, the joke will be on us.
Yeah. So
anyway, on that note, we'll end. So you go ahead and deliver the finishing lines, Raj.
Thank you, Bala. I mean, like I said, we also love garages, but then we prefer parking our cars in that if we have one. So we trust all of you would have also parked your cars where it is, because we are still in lockdown. We are not moving out anywhere. So looking forward to having you again in the next edition of Bits and Banter. Please go ahead and like the page right below and leave your comments there, because we are happy to listen to comments, and we love brickbats, unlike many others in this profession. So thank you very much. See you soon. Take care. Adios.
Yeah, thank you.
Easy, young